Chosen one. Pause for a moment and really feel this. The season that wounded you, the season that drained you, the season that took more from you than anyone around you ever realized. That season is ending. Something in the spiritual realm has shifted on your behalf. What once felt impossible to heal from is now the very place where God is sending restoration, renewal, and relief. This word is reaching you at this exact moment because heaven has aligned it with your breaking point, your turning point, and your awakening point. You have carried pain that didn't match your age, your experience, or your capacity. You endured storms that came without warning and battles you never asked to fight. Life hit you in ways that forced you to grow before you were ready to forgive, before you understood, and to stand when everything inside you wanted to collapse. The wounds you hid behind your smile, the heaviness you buried beneath your responsibilities, the silent cries no one ever heard, they were not unseen by God. This message isn't random. It's not a coincidence. It is a divine interruption, a sacred moment carved out in time to tell you that the weight you've been carrying is being lifted. The pain that shaped your nights, the heartbreak that reshaped your identity, the confusion that clouded your mind. It all served a purpose you couldn't yet understand. But heaven is stepping in now. God is declaring over your life, the season that hurt you is ending. Healing is coming. Relief is coming. Peace is coming. Even if you've grown used to surviving, even if healing feels unfamiliar, even if the idea of peace feels foreign after everything you've been through, this word is here to announce that your story is shifting. The chapter that brought you sorrow is closing, and the chapter that brings you restoration is opening, not someday, not eventually, now. But listen carefully, the reason this healing is arriving now isn't just because the pain is over. It's because you've been strengthened. You've been refined. You've been shaped into someone who can carry the blessing that's attached to this next season. What once felt like punishment will be revealed as preparation. In the next part of this message, we will step deeper into what heaven is doing on your behalf. There is more to reveal, more that you need to understand about why this healing is coming, why the suffering had a purpose, and why now is the prophetic moment God has chosen. And as we move deeper into this message, let your spirit settle into the realization that what is happening in your life right now is not random, not accidental, and not the result of mere circumstances. There is a divine hand guiding this transition. The healing that is beginning to unfold is not coming from human strength, from time alone, or from the natural progression of events. It is coming from God Himself, from a place far higher, wiser, and more intentional than anything you've experienced before. There is a moment in every destiny where heaven steps forward, where God interrupts the trajectory of pain and redirects it toward purpose. You are standing in that moment now. This word is a sign that heaven has issued a decree concerning you, a declaration that the suffering you carried so silently has reached its fullness. The one who formed you, the one who has watched over every detail of your journey, is now speaking into the very places where you felt the most broken. Not to remind you of what hurt you, but to rewrite what it did to you. There are assignments that only God can authorize, and this healing is one of them. It is sacred. It is strategic. It is deeply personal. It carries the weight of divine timing. The kind of timing where everything aligns without your effort, without your striving, simply because heaven has decided that your story must change. You may not have realized it, but God has been watching your resilience. He has seen the moments when you refused to give up even though your heart was exhausted. He has seen every tear you wiped away in the dark. He has heard every prayer you whispered under your breath, every plea for strength, every cry for relief. None of it was ignored. None of it was wasted. Even the prayers you thought evaporated into silence were collected, counted, and answered in ways you're only beginning to understand. This next season of healing isn't coming as a slow drip. It's coming as a divine release. Heaven has opened something over your life, something that couldn't open until you reached the maturity, the clarity, and the spiritual depth required to carry it. God wasn't delaying to punish you. He was preparing the environment around you so that your healing could be sustained, not temporary. So that what hurt you before could never break you again. And now the message being delivered to you carries the tone of divine authority. It comes from the one who holds all power, all wisdom, and all mercy. This is a word spoken from the throne from the Creator who sees both your past and your future with perfect clarity. He is saying, I am stepping into your story now. I am placing my hand on the wounds that shaped you. I am lifting you out of the heaviness that tried to define you. Feel the weight of that. This is God speaking healing over your life. This is heaven recognizing your endurance. This is divinity addressing your humanity with tenderness and strength. And what comes next is the revelation of what exactly is being released over your life. There is a prophecy unfolding, one that touches the deepest parts of your journey. What's being released into your life now is more than comfort, more than encouragement, more than a gentle pat on the back after a long storm. This is a divine turning, a spiritual reversal, a prophetic shift that has been building quietly beneath the surface of your life. It has been forming in the unseen realm while you continued forward unaware that heaven was constructing something far greater than the pain you endured. The prophecy unfolding over your life declares this: the season that wounded you is closing, and a divinely orchestrated healing is stepping into its place. Not the kind of healing that simply dulls the ache, nor the kind that helps you cope with what happened, but the kind that rewrites the emotional, spiritual, and even physical impact of everything you survived. Heaven is not just mending broken pieces. It is transforming the entire structure of your life. There is a spiritual exchange happening. God is taking the sorrow that weighed on your heart and replacing it with a peace that doesn't tremble, doesn't waver, doesn't break. He is taking the heaviness that pressed against your chest and turning it into strength. A strength that will rise quietly but powerfully from within you. He is taking the memories that once triggered pain and turning them into markers of victory, reminders of how far He has carried you, and signs that the darkness that once overwhelmed you will never have the same power again. In the spirit, it looks like a sunrise breaking through the horizon after the longest night. You cannot force it, you cannot rush it, but when God decides the night is over, light appears instantly. The prophecy over you now is that light is breaking forth. The shadows that lingered are being pushed back, not by your effort, but by divine command. Heaven has declared that you will no longer walk under the weight of what happened to you. You may not feel it fully yet. Healing often begins quietly, almost imperceptibly. It starts as a shift in the atmosphere around your life, a softening in places that were once hardened by pain. It begins with a moment of clarity, a moment when you realize something inside you is changing. That old emotional wound doesn't sting as sharply. That memory doesn't pull you downward as violently. That fear no longer speaks as loudly. Healing starts like that, small signs of relief that steadily grow into full restoration. But this prophecy carries more than emotional restoration. God is also healing the places where your identity was shaken. The betrayal that made you doubt your worth. The disappointment that made you question your purpose. The loss that made you feel abandoned. The loneliness that made you wonder if you were unseen. All of these experiences created fractures in the way you viewed yourself, fractures in the way you viewed your future. But God is repairing the foundation. He is rebuilding your identity on truth. Divine truth, not on the damage others caused. there is something else unfolding in this prophetic moment. God is restoring the parts of you that were muted, suppressed, or silenced. Your voice is returning. Your passion is resurfacing. Your clarity is sharpening. What pain tried to bury is rising again, this time stronger and more aligned with your purpose. You are stepping into a version of yourself that could only be formed through the fire you walked through and the grace that lifted you out of it. And understand this, the ending of your painful season is not happening quietly in the spiritual realm. There is movement in heaven. Angels are being assigned to guide you into places of peace you haven't felt in years. The atmosphere around your life is shifting, aligning, clearing. The battles that once surrounded you are losing their strength because God Himself is stepping in to bring finality to the suffering you endured. The prophecy also reveals that this healing is not temporary. It will not fade with time. It will not be undone by the next challenge. It is a lasting healing, a divine restoration that seals the scars and strengthens the spirit beneath them. Where you once felt fragile, you will feel grounded. Where you once felt broken, you will feel whole. And now, as this healing unfolds, there is a deeper meaning behind it. A spiritual depth that explains why this moment matters, why this season is sacred, and why this transition is divine in its timing. As this prophecy unfolds, it becomes clear that the healing being sent into your life carries a much deeper spiritual significance than simply relieving pain. This isn't only about emotional release, it is about divine recalibration. God is realigning your heart, your identity, your purpose, and your future in ways that connect directly to your destiny. Every wound, every delay, every season of suffering has been woven into a larger spiritual tapestry that now begins to make sense when seen from heaven's perspective. You're stepping into a moment where the meaning behind your struggle becomes illuminated. Think of your journey as a long night in which you kept walking, kept pressing, kept hoping, even when the path ahead was dim. Every step you took in the darkness became a testament to your faith, even when you didn't realize it. And now that dawn is approaching. God is showing you why the night was allowed and why the sunrise is arriving now. One of the deepest truths behind this prophetic healing is that pain often precedes power. Not the kind of power the world recognizes, but spiritual power, the kind that comes from endurance, surrender, and growth. When you walked through seasons that broke you open, those cracks didn't make you weaker. They made room for wisdom to flow in, room for compassion to deepen, room for discernment to sharpen. What tried to shatter you became the very thing that expanded your spirit. There is a divine principle at work here. Every season has a purpose, and every purpose brings transformation. Your season of hurt was a season of stripping, not to diminish you, but to remove what could not travel with you into your next chapter. God used that season to reveal the truth about certain people, to break cycles that hindered your growth, to expose hidden patterns that needed healing, and to draw you closer to His voice. Your suffering was not wasted, it was sacred soil. And now that soil is ready to birth something new. Think of your journey as the growth of a strong tree. Before the branches ever reached toward the sky, the roots had to grow deep underground, hidden, silent, unseen. The storms you faced did not break your roots, they strengthened them. They pushed them deeper. They carved resilience into your foundation. And now, as God releases healing, He's also releasing growth, expansion, and elevation, because your spiritual roots can support what's coming next. Another dimension of this prophetic moment is the concept of divine timing. Healing could not come before the revelation. Peace could not come before the pruning. Restoration could not come before the preparation. God has been ordering your steps, even when those steps felt painful or disorienting. You were being shaped for something that required a version of you who could withstand blessing without losing identity, who could receive breakthrough without collapsing under its weight. The season that hurt you forced you to confront aspects of yourself that needed clarity. Your boundaries, your self-worth, your values, your spiritual sensitivity. And now that you've gained that clarity, God is allowing healing to flow because you're ready to carry it. Not halfway, not temporarily, but fully and permanently. The symbols surrounding your journey, storms, darkness, wilderness, closed doors, all carry spiritual depth. Storms reveal what is anchored. Darkness strengthens perception. Wilderness produces dependence on rather than people. Closed doors redirect you toward what is aligned. Every symbol in your story has meaning. Every moment has spiritual architecture behind it. And now the symbolism is shifting. The storm clouds are parting. The darkness is thinning. The wilderness is opening into a clearing. The closed doors are giving way to divinely ordered paths. You are stepping out of one spiritual season and into another. And the transition is marked by healing, because healing is the bridge between the pain of the past and the purpose of the future. This healing is also a restoration of identity. Pain has a way of distorting how we see ourselves. It whispers lies that sink deep if not countered. Maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I deserve this. Maybe something is wrong with me. Maybe I'll always be this way. God is breaking those lies off of you. He is bringing you back to the truth. He spoke over you long before the pain arrived. A truth rooted in purpose, purity, strength, calling, and divine intention. The healing entering your life is not just about soothing wounds, it's about realigning you with heaven's perspective of who you truly are. There is also a spiritual unveiling happening. You are beginning to see your past with new eyes. What once looked like chaos now looks like preparation. What once felt like abandonment now feels like protection. What once seemed like loss now reveals itself as redirection. God is allowing the meaning behind your suffering to unfold, because meaning heals what time alone cannot. And maybe most importantly, this healing marks the beginning of a transformation that will touch every part of your life. Not only emotionally, not only spiritually, but relationally, mentally, financially, and even physically. The season of hurt took from you energy, joy, confidence, clarity, but this new season will restore what was lost and multiply what was left. Now that the deeper meaning has been revealed, the signs of this new season are already showing themselves in your life. Small, subtle indicators that healing has begun and breakthrough is near. As this new season of healing settles over your life, the shift will not only be felt internally, it will begin revealing itself through clear, recognizable signs. These signs are not coincidences. They are spiritual markers, gentle indicators from God and the unseen realm that your season of hurt is truly ending, and your restoration is already in motion. You may have already started noticing some of them without realizing what they meant. Now, as you continue listening, these signs will become clearer and more meaningful. One of the first signs of this shift is a softening inside your heart. Not weakness, but release. Moments that once triggered pain start to feel lighter. Memories that used to tighten your chest begin to lose their grip. You may catch yourself breathing deeper, thinking clearer, or feeling emotions you haven't felt in a long time. Calmness, hope, or even quiet joy. This softening is heaven working from the inside out, loosening the ties of old wounds and preparing you for peace. Another sign is disconnection from what once drained you. Situations, habits, or people who once had access to your energy suddenly lose their pull. You feel less obligated, less tied, less affected. This isn't you being cold, it's God protecting your spirit as healing begins. He is removing your attachment to the very things that fed your pain. You may feel a sudden urge to simplify your environment, step back from chaos, or seek solitude. This is confirmation that your spirit is rising to a new frequency. A third sign appears in your discernment becoming sharper. You begin to see truth more clearly, not just about others, but about yourself. The lies you believed during your painful season no longer hold the same authority. You start recognizing your worth more easily, making decisions with more confidence and feeling guided even in moments of uncertainty. That clarity is not accidental. It is a sign that God is renewing your mind and restoring your inner compass. A fourth sign often shows up through unexpected moments of peace. Peace that doesn't match your circumstances. Peace that surprises you. Peace that interrupts your thoughts in the middle of a busy day. It may feel like a warm wave passing through your chest, or a sudden calm that settles over your mind. That peace is divine. It is the presence of God assuring you that the worst is truly behind you and the healing is already unfolding. Another sign is the return of things you thought were gone forever. Your creativity, your confidence, your excitement for the future, your spiritual sensitivity. You may find yourself dreaming again, imagining again, hoping again. These small sparks are evidence that the heaviness that once muted your soul is being lifted. What pain suppressed is rising again, revived by divine breath. And finally, you may notice doors opening that were once firmly closed. Opportunities appear unexpectedly. Conversations shift. Resources come into alignment. People show up who carry encouragement, support, or clarity. These openings are not random. They are proof that your life is moving into divine order. Healing always makes room for what is destined. These signs are heaven's way of telling you you are stepping into a new chapter. What hurt you will not follow you. What broke you will not bind you. Healing is already here. Now that the signs have been revealed, it's time to understand the hidden challenges that may arise just before full transformation. Challenges that are not setbacks, but sacred tests designed to strengthen your path. Even as healing begins to flow into your life, there will be moments when the journey feels uncertain, moments where you question whether change is truly happening. These moments are not signs of failure, they are signs of transition. Every divine breakthrough carries with it a brief period of spiritual resistance, not to push you backward, but to push you deeper into trust. These hidden challenges are not punishments. They are the final tests before fulfillment. One challenge you may face is the echo of old pain resurfacing. Not to harm you, but to leave your life for good. Sometimes the mind replays old wounds right before they are released from the heart. You might feel memories rising, emotions surfacing, or thoughts you thought you had outgrown returning for a brief moment. Do not misinterpret this. It is not regression, it is purging. God is clearing out what you no longer need, pulling up the roots of old burdens so that the soil of your spirit is free for new growth. Another hidden challenge is the temptation to doubt the process. When healing begins quietly, it can feel almost too subtle, too gentle to be real. You may question whether anything is changing at all. But remember, some of God's greatest works begin in silence beneath the surface where eyes cannot see. Doubt may whisper, but faith is being strengthened. You are learning to trust God not just for outcomes, but for the unseen work He is doing in your heart. A third challenge may come through unexpected resistance from your environment. When you begin rising, not everyone rises with you. People who were comfortable with the version of you shaped by pain may not understand the version of you shaped by healing. Some may distance themselves. Others may react unexpectedly. This isn't a loss, it's pruning. God is removing what cannot stay attached to your future. It may feel uncomfortable, but it is protection in disguise. You may also face the challenge of spiritual fatigue. After long seasons of carrying emotional burdens, stepping into healing can feel unfamiliar. Relief can feel strange. Peace can feel too quiet. Your spirit may need time to adjust to the absence of chaos. This is normal. You are learning how to live without the weight you once thought was permanent. Another subtle challenge appears as impatience. Once you sense healing beginning, you may want everything to shift instantly. Every wound closed, every question answered, every door opened. But God's healing is intentional. It is layered. It is complete. Impatience is simply the tension between who you were and who you are becoming. Allow the process. Trust the timing. And one more hidden challenge, the fear of being hurt again. After surviving a painful season, your heart may instinctively brace for impact, even when no danger is present. This fear doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. But as healing unfolds, God will replace that fear with discernment, with confidence, with a sense of safety that comes from knowing He is guiding your steps. These challenges are part of the transition, not obstacles to stop you, but reminders that you are crossing from one spiritual landscape into another. And God is not allowing these challenges to appear without equipping you for them. That is why the next part of this message carries divine instruction, clear sacred steps to prepare you for the fullness of what is coming. As these hidden challenges unfold, heaven is not leaving you without direction. Healing is not something you simply wait for. It is something you prepare for. God brings restoration, but you align yourself with it. You step into it. You posture your spirit in a way that allows the fullness of this new season to take root deep within you. And in this moment, divine instruction is being given, so you can walk confidently into the healing God is releasing. The first instruction is to allow yourself to let go. Healing cannot coexist with what you refuse to release. Whether it's an old story you've carried, a painful identity you held on to, or emotional habits shaped by survival, your hands must open for God to place something new in them. Letting go doesn't mean pretending nothing happened. It means acknowledging that the past has no authority over your future. God is inviting you to surrender the version of yourself that pain created so you can step into the version He designed. The second instruction is to protect your atmosphere. In this delicate transition, your spirit is becoming sensitive, more aware, more alert, more aligned. Guard the spaces you enter, the voices you allow access to, and the energies you entertain. Choose stillness. Choose peace. Choose environments that support your growth rather than drain it. You are stepping out of a season where your heart was vulnerable to harm and into a season where your environment must reflect your healing. God is telling you to guard your peace as if it were treasure, because it is. The third instruction is to speak life over yourself. Pain taught you how to survive. Now healing must teach you how to speak with authority. Your words shape your atmosphere. Speak peace. Speak release. Speak clarity. Don't echo old wounds. Declare new beginnings. Even when your feelings don't fully align, yet your spirit is listening and your words create alignment. This is not empty affirmation. It is spiritual activation. Heaven responds when you speak in agreement with God's plan. The fourth instruction is to move slowly, but intentionally. Healing does not demand that you rush into the next thing, nor does it ask you to freeze in place. Step by step, as you feel guided, move toward the things that nourish your soul, routines that ground you, relationships that uplift you, decisions that honor your growth. Take one step, then another, without forcing outcomes. God is guiding you with a gentle hand, not a rushed push. Another instruction is to remain watchful, because healing often comes with moments of divine insight. Pay attention to small shifts, sudden ideas, moments of clarity, or quiet intuition. God speaks in whispers during healing seasons, through peace, through discomfort, through dreams, through sudden understanding. Watchfulness allows you to partner with heaven instead of walking blindly. It helps you recognize what to embrace and what to avoid. Your discernment is sharpening. Trust it. The next instruction is to reconnect with your spiritual core. Pain can numb your spiritual sensitivity, but healing awakens it. Whether through prayer, reflection, journaling, worship, or simply stillness, reconnect with the divine presence that carried you through your darkest moments. You don't need to strive, you simply need to show up. Healing flows easily when you align yourself with the one who heals. Another important instruction: be gentle with yourself. Too often you've had to be strong, hold everything together, push through without rest. This next season requires a different posture. Allow yourself grace. Allow yourself softness. Allow yourself to feel without judgment. Healing is not linear, and God does not demand perfection, only openness. You are learning how to live without the weight that shaped you for so long. That takes time, patience, and compassion toward yourself. The final instruction in this moment is to prepare for restoration. This means adjusting your mindset from survival to expansion. Imagine again. Plan again. Look ahead again. Healing is not the end. It is the doorway to what God is building. Prepare your life for new opportunities, new connections, new levels of peace. Your posture of expectation is part of your preparation. What God restores will not resemble what you lost, it will exceed it. These instructions are not burdens, they are invitations. They align your heart with the work God is doing behind the scenes. They anchor you in wisdom while heaven moves on your behalf. And as you follow these divine steps, something powerful happens. Protection begins to surround you in ways you may have never experienced before. Peace becomes your shield. Presence becomes your covering. And God ensures that as you heal, nothing can touch what He is restoring. As you begin to walk in these divine instructions, something beautiful and powerful starts to unfold. God surrounds you with a level of protection that matches the healing He is bringing. This isn't a fragile or temporary shield. It is a deep spiritual covering crafted specifically for this season of restoration. Where the past left you vulnerable, God now makes you guarded. Where pain once left openings, He now places divine barriers. And where fear once crept in, He now plants peace as your defender. One of the first ways this protection appears is through a new steadiness in your spirit. You may notice that situations that once triggered panic, anxiety, or emotional collapse no longer have the same power over you. It's not because the situation changed, it's because you changed. God is fortifying your inner world. You are less shaken, less reactive, less afraid. This inner steadiness is not self-made. It is spiritual reinforcement. It is God strengthening the places that were once fragile. Another layer of protection emerges in the people God removes from your path. This may feel uncomfortable at first, but it is divine safeguarding. Anyone who could disrupt your healing, disturb your peace, or hinder your growth is quietly being moved out of your atmosphere. Their absence is not abandonment, it is protection. God knows what your heart needs in order to heal, and He guards that process fiercely. There is also protection in the form of clarity. Confusion was a weapon used against you in your painful season. Confusion about people choices, identity, direction. But now, clarity begins to light your path. God protects you by illuminating truth, exposing deception, and highlighting what aligns with your spirit. Clarity keeps you from stepping into traps disguised as opportunities. Clarity is a shield. You will also notice a kind of spiritual insulation where negativity no longer penetrates your mind the way it once did. Words that once wounded now slide off. Judgment that once stung now fails to land. Old fears try to rise, but lose their grip quickly. You are being covered emotionally and spiritually. This insulation is God's way of saying, nothing will interfere with the healing I am giving you. Another form of protection comes through divine redirection. You may find that some plans simply don't move forward, certain paths close unexpectedly, or specific decisions feel restrained in your spirit. Instead of pushing, you feel led to wait or reroute. This is not delay. This is divine supervision. God is protecting you from stepping into places that would reopen wounds or disrupt the restoration forming inside you. And through all of this, there is a steady assurance that settles into your soul, a quiet but unmistakable awareness that you are not walking this journey alone. You may feel it in moments of stillness, in sudden waves of peace, or in the soft reassurance that rises when doubt tries to speak. This assurance is God's whisper, I am with you. I am guiding you. I am covering you. You are safe. As this protection wraps around you, something extraordinary begins to happen: transformation. Healing does not come only to soothe. It comes to reshape, to elevate, to renew every part of who you are. And now that you are protected and assured, the next stage of this prophetic journey reveals what that transformation looks like. As this divine protection surrounds you, something begins to shift at the deepest level of your being. Healing is no longer just a promise, it becomes a lived reality. You start to feel the transformation unfolding, not only in your emotions, but in your thoughts, in your spirit, in the way you carry yourself, and in the way you see your life. What once felt fractured begins to feel whole. What once felt heavy begins to feel light. What once felt lost begins to return with greater clarity and strength. This transformation is not dramatic all at once. It is sacred, layered, and beautifully intentional. You may look in the mirror and realize you are no longer the person shaped by heartbreak and hardship. Your eyes carry more peace. Your voice carries more confidence. Your posture carries more assurance. Something within you has awakened a quiet but powerful recognition that you survived what was meant to break you. And now you are stepping into who you were always meant to become. One of the first marks of this transformation is the return of your inner light. Pain has a way of dimming the soul, of dulling hope, of clouding vision. But healing reignites what suffering tried to extinguish. You begin to feel inspired again, not from external motivation, but from the divine spark God is rekindling in your spirit. You feel more alive, more present, more connected to your purpose. Your joy is no longer forced. It begins to flow naturally as the old burdens fall away. Another sign of transformation is the clarity of your identity. The person you were during the season of hurt was shaped by survival. The person you are becoming is shaped by truth. You recognize your worth with new certainty. You no longer question whether you were enough. You no longer internalize rejection or betrayal. You see yourself through the lens of divine intention, chosen, valuable, resilient, purposeful. This identity becomes your foundation moving forward. Your transformation also impacts your relationships. You no longer tolerate what wounds your spirit. You attract people who resonate with your healing, not your brokenness. You set boundaries without guilt. You choose connections that honor your growth. And you discover a new level of emotional maturity, not hardened but wise, not guarded but discerning. You love differently because you understand love differently. As this healing deepens, you begin to notice alignment forming in your life. Things start to fall into place, opportunities, ideas, relationships, open doors. Where once there was struggle and striving, now there is flow. Where once everything felt uphill, now paths appear that fit your spirit. This alignment is not luck. It is fulfillment. It is your life catching up with what God has been doing within you. And perhaps the most profound aspect of this transformation is the restoration of your peace. Peace that cannot be stolen by circumstances. Peace that remains even when life becomes unpredictable. Peace that stands firm at the center of your being, reminding you that God has settled things in the spirit long before they manifest in the natural. This peace becomes your anchor, your compass, your steady place. Then comes fulfillment, the moment where the healing you received begins producing fruit. You start walking in purpose again. Creativity flows. Strength returns, Discernment sharpens. Opportunities that were once out of reach suddenly meet you where you are. You can feel something new rising, something sacred and powerful, something that reflects the divine intention God has been shaping all along. Fulfillment does not erase your past, it redeems it. It gives meaning to the pain. It turns wounds into wisdom. It transforms suffering into testimony. And it reveals that everything you walked through was preparing you for this very season. A season marked by peace, clarity, abundance, restoration, and divine alignment. Now, to seal this journey, to anchor this transformation, and to empower your next steps, you will receive a closing blessing, affirmations, and declarations that you can carry with you as you walk into this healed and renewed chapter. As this message comes to its close, let your spirit settle into everything that has been spoken over you. You have walked through the depth of this prophetic word, from the acknowledgement of your wounds to the revelation of your healing, to the instructions, protection, and transformation now unfolding in your life. You are stepping forward, renewed, strengthened, and aligned. And before you move into the next chapter, Heaven wants to leave you with affirmations to anchor your heart and a blessing to seal this season in faith. Take a breath and let these words rest on your spirit. Affirmation 1. I am releasing what wounded me, and I am embracing what heals me. Say it slowly. Let it settle. Every time you repeat this, the past loosens its grip a little more, and your spirit opens to divine restoration. Affirmation 2. I am protected, guided, and covered in every step I take. Whether you feel it every moment or not, this truth surrounds you. God is walking ahead of you, behind you, and beside you. You are never unprotected. Affirmation. I am becoming who I was always meant to be. No longer shaped by pain, no longer defined by survival. You are rising into the identity God placed in you before the foundation of the world. This is your becoming. Affirmation 4. My new season starts now. Not eventually, not someday, not when you feel ready now. Healing is not waiting for you to earn it. God has initiated it. Heaven has released it. Your spirit is embracing it. Now receive this blessing. May the peace of God wrap around your heart like a warm mantle, calming every storm that once lived inside you. May His presence fill the spaces where pain used to reside, replacing heaviness with clarity, strength, and unshakable calm. May every wound, old and new, come under divine restoration, healed not by time alone, but by the hand of the One who formed you. May your steps be ordered. May your path be protected. May your spirit be aligned with heaven's rhythm. May every area of your life begin to reflect the healing God has released. You are not stepping out of this message the same way you entered it. A shift has taken place. A release has happened. A chapter has closed. And a new one filled with peace, clarity, purpose, and divine favor has already begun. Walk forward in expectation. Walk forward in confidence. Walk forward knowing heaven has gone before you. Your healing is here. Your season has changed. Your heart is restored. Amen.